Good evening everyone, welcome to ITV News. This is Tuesday night's calendar.
Here are tonight's main stories. First this evening, there are warnings tonight that a dramatic fall in the number of firefighters over the past decade across our region could leave the public unsafe, as they wouldn't be able to get out to every fire. The Fire Brigades Union says 1 in 5 jobs which existed in 2010 have now disappeared.
Well, a mother from Sheffield has added her voice to the calls for better funding. Rachel Shaw says her family could have died if firefighters hadn't responded so quickly to a blaze at her home. Katy Rickitt has the story. Well, next this evening, a new report has cast doubt over government promises that our fishing fleets would benefit to the tune of tens of millions of pounds from Brexit.
The National Federation of Fishermen's Organisation says the industry is actually on a trajectory to lose around £64 million a year up to 2026. That is, unless changes are secured through future talks. Emma Wilkinson's been speaking to one fisherman in Grimsby who says many feel let down by broken promises. Well, issues arising from Brexit have been under discussion at the Conservative Party conference this week. It's, of course, the first face-to-face conference since we officially left the EU. Our political correspondent of News in Brief now, an inquest into the death of a fashion student from Hull who was murdered by the serial killer Stephen Port in London has opened today and will focus on whether police missed opportunities to stop him sooner. And youngsters and charity workers in Hull have been marking Black History Month with a fashion show celebrating a whopping 75,000 years of African clothing. The event, hosted by...
Well, next tonight, a survey commissioned by ITV has found that only 40% of the 14 million people living with a disability in the UK feel comfortable telling others that they are disabled. The exclusive poll carried out by YouGov also found that less than a third of us are aware of the levels of disability in the UK.
Now, in a moment, we'll hear from Paul Sinner, who you might recognise as one of the chasers from the ITV quiz show. Paul has Parkinson's disease and is also part of the new Invisible Disabilities campaign. Here's a quick clip from the campaign. Amazing stuff. Well, a little earlier, I spoke to Paul Sinner and I started by asking him how his condition affects his life and his work. Well, open about your condition, and by the way, I love some of your comebacks on social media when people point out your spelling on Twitter. How much does it help you that people know what you're going through on a day-to-day basis? Being in the public eye, you'd have found it harder to talk about, and do you think that would have been the right decision if you'd have kept it quiet? Well, I know you're not just a chaser, you're also a stand-up comedian, and Parkinson's forms part of your act, and you spend a lot of all the fanfare and the countdown noises, but what was the first... Oh, absolutely everything, and it was of course called... For joining us, it's been a pleasure. Obviously it was Yorkshire TV, he really does know his stuff. That's Paul Sinner there from The Chase, showing off his chaser skills to the max, and you can find out more about the Invisible Disabilities campaign at itv.com/disability. Thank you, Charlene. But first on calendar, the slogan "Building Back Better" is one we've been hearing a lot lately. Well, now it's being suggested that a temporary shutdown of the construction trade could actually help us do that.
Yes, the thinking is that by closing down building firms for a few weeks during the summer, productivity increases when they return.
Well, that's the theory anyway. Now, some companies have already been giving it a go, but could it really work across the whole industry? Lauren Hall's been having a look.
This sparked plenty of discussion. Lots of you have been getting in touch with us about this. Surprisingly, not many think it's a good idea at all. This one is from Glennie Mag. She says, it brings back memories, perhaps good old ones. She says this is going full swing back to the 50s and 60s. Steelworks in Sheffield would close last 2 weeks of August, and you'd find most Sheffield people in Skegness.
And Mark Adams says, no, people should take their annual leave when they want. Why should everything favour business owners and shareholders instead of the individual?
Next one is from Rebecca and David Langham. Say, we're a small roofing company. We're currently struggling, not finding work. Shutting down for 3 weeks wouldn't benefit us, as we need to keep ticking.
And Michael Booth says, yes, if we could take it on individual rainy days, adding up to 3 weeks, that'd be great. I'm not sure whether Michael wants to be working on the rainy days or off on the rainy days. But there is, of course, one man who could help tell him when those rainy days in. He's back.
Who wants to be off on
last week?
Absolutely, yes. After all, yeah. Let me explain what's going on. If you look up in... Like when you were a lad, Duncan, wasn't it?
Ah, exactly. I watched the first Enola Holmes. Very good, actually. I'm looking forward to the second one.
Yeah, so am I.
Thanks.
Worth looking up for him as well, thank you. Finally tonight, as many people still come to terms with both the physical and mental health issues that the pandemic and lockdowns have caused, football is doing its part to help tackle those issues.
Yes, ahead of World Mental Health Day on Sunday, English Football League clubs have been asked to do something for their local communities. Doncaster Rovers set up a walking club to get people fit and out and about again. And today they had a special visitor, as Martin Fisher reports. Eyes down, look in. Time for the weather forecast with John. Thanks very much indeed, John. That's it from us. Our next update's at 10:30.
The national and international stories are next with Charlene White.
But for now, from the whole team on Calendar, thanks very much indeed for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.